So next week, I'm not here. And then the following week, we start in person again, which I'm very excited about. And I understand maybe some of you might not be ready for that, and that's fine. There's a lot of content recorded, so hopefully that will work for you. You have any questions before we start? I don't think I can hear you guys, actually. Okay, so that's the main thing, is that next week we don't have class, and the following week we start. And I think there's a couple other classes that are added here as well, so I definitely encourage you to take advantage of those. It seems like there's some good content coming up. So, okay, we'll start. Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta cut that part out.
Don't you worry.
All right, anyway. So welcome to Yoga Hour. My name is Cadre. Today the word is balance, which is a pretty appropriate word for yoga, of course, because we do a lot of balancing. So if you've ever been to a zoo or even seen a photo in a magazine of like Nature magazine and such, or on TV or however, but anyway, flamingos are pretty amazing at balancing on one foot or one leg. I know they sit there despite all the other birds and other noises and humans spectating them at the zoo. And they stand on one leg, usually with their beaks tucked in their feathers and resting. And I think they actually sleep like that as well. So they're masters at balancing. And for us humans, we can't really do that so much. I think it's pretty much out of the question to sleep standing on one leg. And I know even in my tree poses, when I close my eyes, I tend to waver quite a bit. And most of the time I end up falling out of balance. So it's a challenge. So even relatively simple asana, like tree pose, demands our full attention. Standing on one foot, we naturally drop extraneous thoughts to focus on the task at hand. Thus, asana practice can instill a deep sense of calm, even though they require intense, unwavering alertness. You certainly have to be in that moment, paying attention to everything. Balance. When we balance, we align our body's center of gravity with the Earth's gravitational field. And we refresh our balance moment to moment, and our effort to center and recenter. And when successful, brings not only our flesh and bones, our bodies into balance, but also our nerve impulses, thoughts, emotions, and very consciousness. And we feel calm. The art of balance is said to be a constant, attentive, ever-evolving correction back towards center. Oh, that's right. So come to your comfortable seat. Maybe you're already in that space. Rest your hands wherever is comfortable. And then close down your eyes. And you can also softly gaze at the floor just in front. And root down through your sitting bones into the mat, into the earth beneath you. And rise up through your chest, keeping your chin out of your chest. And then wiggle just a little bit from left to right. Find that center, the balance, and then shift forward and back slightly, finding your center there. And rise up through your chest, through the crown of your head. And this is a good time to check in with yourself, observe how you're feeling, your physical body is feeling, how your mental body is doing, or mental state. Just observe it Make note of it. And then let that go. And pay some attention to your breath. Be an observer. Notice the quality, the length. And then participate somewhat in your breath. So trying to make it smooth and steady, equal in length. So each inhalation, equal, smooth, as each exhalation. And all the while keeping the lift in your chest and the lift through the crown of your head. And then soften in your skin, soften in your body. And just take this moment to transition into our practice today. Feel free to keep your hands where they are. And bring your palms together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. We'll start class with one Om. Feel free to join in or listen. Take a full inhale and exhale completely. And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. Acknowledge yourself for showing up for you today. And move your chin out of your chest. Release your hands to your legs and then slowly open your eyes. Okay, we'll start in child's pose. So come into child's pose or balasana. Your knees are at or hip width apart. Big toes come to touch. Sit bones down to your heels. And then inhale and rise up through your chest. And as you exhale, bring your chest down towards your mat and your hands down towards your mat. Walk your hands forward towards the front of your top of your mat as you bring your chest closer and closer down to the mat. Maybe your forehead and tip of nose down to your mat as well. And then soften there. And with each exhalation, maybe sink closer to your mat. And keep reaching forward with your fingertips and lifting your armpits up and down and back with your hips. Child's pose. And keep stretching through your side body. So pressing your hands down and forward. Hips down and back. Full breath in and exhale out. Inhale once again. Come onto your hands and knees. Knees under hips and wrists under shoulders. Spread your fingers evenly, index fingers pointed straight ahead. Tops of feet on the floor. Press down with your tops of your feet, knees, and hands, and take an inhalation, and as you exhale, round your back and come into cat pose. In cat pose, your belly button comes towards your spine, chin towards your chest, squeeze your thighs in, hands down and towards your knees. Take a breath. And then on your inhalation, reverse the movement and come into cow pose. So in cow pose, belly button towards your mat, chin out of your chest. Keep squeezing thighs in, knees down and back, hands down and forward. And then continue with your breath. So exhale, cat pose, and inhale, cow pose. And then you can make some movement side to side, whatever feels good for you, and warming up your body. And then come to a neutral spine. And you can choose the option, maybe walk your knees in a little bit closer to each other just for balance. And lift your left leg back behind you, parallel to the floor. And as you lift your left leg, make sure you keep your belly button towards your spine and a small rounding in your upper back. So you're not trying to, typically when we lift our leg, we'll have a little bit more of a curve in our back. So we're trying to keep that kind of neutral spine there. Extend your leg back, rotate your inner thigh towards the ceiling so your kneecap is pointed down. And then lift your right arm parallel to the floor, close your fingers, point your palms in, and stretch in opposite directions. Take a full breath here. And then release and switch sides. So right leg back, parallel to the floor. Point your kneecap down, inner thigh up. Again, make sure your belly button's towards your spine and the slight rounding in your upper back. And then inhale and reach your left arm forward. Close your fingers, point palm in, and stretch in opposite direction. Full breath here. And as you exhale, lower down. We're going to do that one more time. So left leg back, parallel to the floor, right arm parallel to the floor. You can stay working right here or bend your back knee and bring your heel towards your sit bone. So trying to close that knee joint as much as you can. It may be a little early, so just beware of cramps, but that's what we're working on. So reach back, maybe stay there or reach back and grab your foot and kick back. So as you kick back into your hand, you're opening in your shoulder, trying to keep your chest squared towards the front of your mat and your knees squeezing in towards the center, so thighs towards each other. Then release, come back to arm and leg parallel and then lower down. And extend your right leg back parallel to the floor, kneecap pointed down, left arm out in front. And stay working right here or bend your back knee, bringing your knee towards your sit bone. Maybe reach back with your left hand and grab your foot. If you can't grab your foot, that's fine. Just you can reach back and work towards that. You have your foot, kick up and kick back. Square your chest towards the front of your mat. Keep your right knee in towards the midline. Press into the mat with your left knee, right hand. And breathe. Then extend out and back to hands and knees. Walk your hands towards the front of your mat, keeping your hands separated shoulder width apart, index fingers pointed straight ahead or slightly to the right. Spread your fingers evenly, grip down through all finger pads and knuckles into your mat. Especially your pointer finger knuckle, press that one into the mat, like glue it into the mat. Walk your knees back slightly, curling your toes under, and then shift your hips up and back into our first down dog. So keep your knees bent and separate your feet about hip width apart. Sit bones towards the ceiling, hands down and forward, relax your head and neck. Maybe work one knee towards straight, one leg towards straight, and then the other, so walking your dog. So keep reaching sit bones up and hands down and forward. Lift your armpits away from your mat and wrap your outer shoulders in towards your ear. And maybe once you have all that, keeping all that, bring your heels down towards your mat. Full breath here.
And then gaze between your hands and step your right foot forward between your hands. So you're in a lunge position. Back heel vertical, back leg straight and strong. Squeeze your left inner thigh, right glute towards each other. Make sure your front shin is straight up and down. Walk your hands on the inside of your right foot and then out in front for down dog lunge. So this down dog lunge, your right hand is in line with your right foot and your left hand is about shoulder width apart from there. Press down through your hands, down and apart with your feet. Engage your glutes, tone your abdomen, and relax your head and neck. Keep reaching forward and out with your hands, squeezing in with your legs. Big breath here. And then step your hands. Place your hands on the either side of your front foot and step back into Shavasana or downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. Keep pressing hands down and forward, feet down and back, sit bones up towards the ceiling, belly button towards your spine. And gaze forward and step your left foot between your hands. Apparently I'm getting my hands and my feet confused there. So make sure your back leg is straight and strong, back heel vertical, squeeze your glutes in towards each other, or tighten your glutes and squeeze your left thigh, right thigh, left glute in towards each other. Make sure your front shin is straight up and down, and then lift your chest, walk your hands on the inside of your front foot, left hand in line with your left toes, and right hand about shoulder width apart from there. So down dog lunge. Squeeze your feet down and apart. Tone abdomen. Bring chest down towards your mat. Relax your head and neck. And breathe. Walk your hands on the either side or bring your hands on the other side of your front foot and then step forward with your right. Bring your hands to your shins. Keep the bend in your knee and slowly stand up to Shavasana. Okay. Interlace your hands all the way to the webbing. Flip your palms away from you. And then bring your arms overhead. Reach up, stretch up, keep your chin out of your chest. Root down through your feet. So tone thighs, tighten kneecaps, tone glutes, tone abdomen. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. And then release that. And you can work with feet out of hip width apart. Or you can bring your toes to touch. If you have your toes to touch, make a tiny little space between your ankles. But do what works for your body. Inhale, reach up, point your palms in, straighten your arms, then grab your left wrist with your right hand, reach up, so go for length first, and then crescent, bringing your torso to the right, hips towards the left. Keep rooting down through your feet. So toning your thighs, tone your glutes, lifting your chest, keeping your chin out of your chest. Maybe reach a little bit more to the right and then come back through center and switch. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Go for length, so create the space first in your spine and then bring your torso to the left, hips to the right. Keep pressing down through your feet, rising up, lifting up through your chest, maybe bringing your right shoulder back just slightly, so being as sideways as possible. Full inhalation and exhale, maybe stretch just a little bit more, and then come back through center and return to mountain pose. We'll do that one more time, slightly different.
So lift your arms overhead, grab your forearm with your hand. And if if your forearm doesn't clear your head, just walk it up slightly, but don't pull on your shoulder or on your elbow, please. So reach up. So go for length first, and then bring your torso to the right, hips towards the left. So stay working right here, pulling with your right hand or rooting down through your left foot. Maybe bring your right toes out to the side. Maybe hover that right leg out. So we're starting to work on a lot of balance. Come back through center and switch. So left hand to right bicep, reach up. And then crescent, bringing your torso to the left, hips towards the right. Keep breathing. Root down through your right leg. Maybe bring your left toes out to the left. Maybe hover that foot, that leg. Keep stretching up, rooting down through your right leg. And then come back through center and come back to Tadasana. Very good. Tree pose. Balancing on your left foot. Place your right foot anywhere on your leg except for your knee. So here works fine on your shin, or you can also assist with your hand, bringing that right heel to the root of your inner left thigh. Point your toes down, knee out to the side, lift your chest, maybe place your palms together at heart center. Keep rooting down through your left leg. Press your foot and thigh together. Tuck your tailbone down and under. Tone glutes, tone abdomen. Lift your chest, chin out of chest. And you can stay working right here or lift your arms overhead, keeping them shoulder width apart or palms together. If you want to play with balance, you can try to close your eyes. See where that takes you. I usually tumble out. Palms back down to heart center. Lift your chest and lower your right foot down. Balancing on your right leg. So right leg standing, make it straight and strong. So tone the thigh, slide your kneecap up. Place your left foot anywhere on your leg except for your knee joint. You can also assist with your left hand and bring that heel to the root of your inner thigh. So toe pointing down, knee out to the side, trying to keep our hips level. Press your foot and thigh together. Place your palms together at heart center. Lift your chest. Gaze up slightly to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Maybe stay working here or lift your arms overhead, palms together or shoulder width apart. Again, you can play with closing your eyes. Keep rooting down through your standing leg, rising up through the crown of your head. Bring your palms back down to heart center. Lower your left knee down or your left foot down and come to the front of your mat. So feet about hip width apart or slightly narrower. Lift your arms overhead, point your palms in, close your fingers. Reach up, stretch up. From here, lean more weight into your toes and sit your hips down and back, and then lean some weight back into your heels. Gaze forward, attempting to keep your chest and head in one line, stacking more over your hips. And then take an inhalation, and as you exhale, step your left foot back into a lunge and reach your arms forward. So back heel's vertical, back leg straight and strong. Make sure your front knee is in line with your right ankle. So your shin is straight up and down. Reach forward and then bring your left hand down to the floor outside your front foot or a block if you have a block handy. And twist open to the right and then to revolve lunge. So keeping your shoulders stacked more or less in one line, reaching up through your chest, through your palms. Keep pressing your feet down and apart, squeezing your left inner thigh, right glute towards each other. Tuck your tailbone under, lift and twist your chest to the right. Take a full breath here. And then bring your hand back down towards your front foot, reach up, step back to your front of your mat, reach up, and then come back into Shavasana. And second side. So arms overhead, point palms in, straighten arms, reach up, stretch up, bring some weight towards your toes as you bend your knees and sit your hips down and back. And then transfer the weight back in towards your heels. Full breath in, and then exhale. Step your right foot back into a lunge, bringing your torso more towards parallel, arms out in front. Make sure your back heel's vertical, back leg straight and strong. Front knee in line with your ankle. Then from here, reaching forward, placing your right hand down to your mat, to your block, and then twist open to the left, bringing your top arm vertical. So creating maximum distance between your hands, broadening across your chest, and twisting to the left. Keep squeezing your feet down and apart, squeezing your left glute, right inner thigh towards each other, tone abdomen, stretch across your chest. Take a big, deep breath here. And then as you come back, bring those arms out in front, step forward with your right foot, come on up, and come back to Tadasana. Very good. I'm warmed up for sure. Okay. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, bringing all 10 fingers down to your mat. So bend your knees. Step back and come into downward facing dog. Make sure your hands are shoulder width apart. Fingers are spread evenly. Index fingers straight ahead, grip down into the mat with all 10 fingers. Lift your armpits up, wrap your shoulders in, sit bones towards the ceiling. And then shift forward into plank pose. So back leg straight and strong. Always option to lower your back knee. Knees. And take a breath here. Tuck your tailbone down and under. Tone glutes, tone abdomen. Press the floor away from you. And if you want a little bit more challenge here, without moving your hands, press them down and out and drag them towards your toes. You should feel your belly fire up. And then lower your knees down and come through chaturanga and lower down to your belly. Bring your arms alongside your torso, palms facing up. So one at a time, lift and lengthen your legs. So as if someone's pulling on your ankles, lift one leg up, extend it back, drop it down. Lift one leg up, extend it back, drop it down. Lift your chin, lift your chest, and then shoulders towards your spine, towards your ears, and then towards your spine, and then down your back. So lifting in your chest and allow your back muscles to do all the work here. Belly button still towards your spine, so tone across your belly, and then lift everything off the mat except for your hips. Extend your legs back, point your toes, and reach back with your arms. Still, make sure you have a tone in your thighs and tone in your glutes. Kneecaps are pointed down, inner thighs pointed towards the ceiling. And then lower all the way down and prop yourself up on your forearms. So a couple options here. You can place we'll start with our left forearm parallel to the front edge of your mat, and your elbow is going to be just slightly in front of your left shoulder. Or you can place your hand at a diagonal. I prefer diagonal, it just depends on what you choose for your balance. So I guess you need to know where we're going. So lean some weight onto your left hip, bend your right knee, and reach back, grab the foot. So you can grab the inner edge of your foot, or if you're more open in the shoulder, you can rotate your palm so your thumb is pointing towards the ceiling and grab the big toe edge. Either way, square your chest towards the front of your mat, kick back. So we're trying to kick back and open in the chest first. So top of left foot down to the mat, so much that your left kneecap moves up. Squeeze your thighs in, tone your glutes, keep pulling back with your right foot. From here, now we're going to close the joint. So however you can put your hand is fine. If you want to rotate, so your thumb rotates onto your big toe and pulling so your elbow points up towards the ceiling. So pulling your heel towards your glute. So you're getting a quad stretch. And keep your chest towards the front of your mat. And then release and switch arms. So either forearm in line with the front edge of your mat, we're at a diagonal. Keep your elbow slightly in front of your right shoulder. If it works for you under your shoulder, that's fine. Just make sure you're not dumping weight into that arm. You're lifting in the chest, lifting out of the shoulder. Lean some weight onto the right side of your body, bend your left knee, and grab your foot or rotate so your thumb is towards the ceiling and grab the big toe edge. Kick back first. So we're opening in the chest first, kicking back, chest towards the front of your mat. Right toes pressing into the mat so your kneecap lifts up. Keep the tone in your belly. Chin out of chest, keep kicking back. And then bring your heel towards your hip by rotating your fingers across the top of your toes, elbow pointed up, maybe closing that knee joint. Again, press into the mat with your right hand to lift your chin up. And then release that foot. Plant your hands beside your chest, elbows pointed up and elbows towards your spine. Curl your toes under, lift your kneecaps up or knees on the floor, up to you, and press up into plank pose, and then come back into downward facing dog. Do a quick stretch here. And then bend your knees and walk towards the front of your mat. Keeping your knees bent, slowly roll up and come into Shavasana. Okay. So come to the middle of your mat. Facing the long edge of your mat. And take a wide stance. So hands to your hips momentarily. So wide stance, make sure your heel's the widest part of your feet. Straight and strengthen your legs. Tuck your tailbone under. Lift your chest. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Front heel in line with the back center arch. Lift your arms parallel to the floor. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, sink your right knee or bend your right knee, come into warrior two. So check with your right knee, make sure it's slightly out to the side so you can see your first 3 to 4 toes. Keeping your shoulders in line with your hips as best you can, and then you can gaze over your right fingertips. Press your feet down and apart, tuck tailbone under, tone glutes, tone abdomen, lift chest, and be sure not to or try not to flare your ribs forward. A lot of the time when we lift our chest, we just flare our ribs. So minimize the space between your lower ribs and your hips. So keep that, and then lift the chest. Take a big breath here, and then slide your left hand down your back leg, right palm towards the ceiling, and reach up and across, maybe gaze up, and don't lose the depth in your front knee. So keep that stance, that warrior two stance, and reverse and stretch across the right side of your body. And then come back through warrior two, bend your right elbow, bring your elbow to your right thigh, and then reach up and across with your left arm for extended side angle. So you're twisting in the torso towards the left. Keep breathing. And then come back through your warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Turn your feet parallel. Rest your hands down if you need a break. We do have another side. Turn your left toes out 90 degrees. Front heel, back center arch. Keep them in line. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Strengthen your legs. And then as you exhale, bend your front knee, coming into warrior two. Left knee out to the side. Left knee in line with left ankle, not beyond. Press your feet down and apart, and then squeeze them towards each other. Tuck your tailbone under, tone glutes, tone your abdomen, minimize the space here so you're not flaring your ribs forward. Lift your chest, stretch your spine, create maximum distance between your hands. So you're really broadening across your chest, your collarbones. Take a full breath here. And then slide your right hand down your back leg. Flip your left palm up towards the ceiling and up and across. So reversing the warrior like a crescent pose in the left side. And try not to dump too much weight into your right hand. It's just placed there gently, a little balance. And keep the depth in your front leg. Full breath in. And then come back through warrior two. Bend your left elbow, place it on top of your left thigh. Right arm up and across. So right bicep to right ear. Bicep. Keep tucking your tailbone under. Toning the abdomen. Lift across the chest. Take a full breath here. And as you exhale, come back into warrior two. Straighten your front leg, turn your feet to parallel, hands to your hips, and come back into Tadasana. So we're gonna do triangle. I always recommend a block for triangle, or two blocks if you have them. So place them just outside your feet in the back. And then take a wide stance. So wide stance, when your arms are parallel to the floor, your ankles are under your wrists. We did an exercise once where we dropped a string or a strap down off of our wrist, and you can gauge it that way. So strengthen your legs, lift your chest, bring your arms to parallel, turn your right toes out 90 degrees, front heel, back center arch lined up, and then reach with your right hand, reaching out to the right. Left hip is going to shoot back slightly. So trying to close this gap here. Once you close that gap, then you can bring your right hand down to your mat, to your block. If you don't have a block, you can place your hand on your right shin. If you're placing your hand there, pull up instead of dumping weight there. Twist to your left. Maybe reach your top arm, your left arm up. Coming into Triconasana. Press your feet down and apart. Tuck tailbone under.
Tone glutes, tone abdomen, lift your chest, stretch your spine, reach up, and breathe. And come on up, switch your feet. So left toes out 90 degrees. Again, straight and strengthen legs. Inhale, reach your chest up. And then as you exhale, reach with your left hand. Right hip comes back, and then bring your left hand down to your mat, to a block, or to your shin. Stretch and twist, open across your chest to the right, maybe bringing your right palm up towards the ceiling. Stretch across your chest, creating maximum distance between your hands. Tuck your tailbone under. Tone and turn your abdomen up. Stretch through the crown of your head. And take a full breath. And then come back through center. Turn your feet to parallel. And step or hop your feet together. Move your blocks to the side. You're doing great. All right, so come to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend your knees and forward fold to Uttanasana. Step back into plank pose. So always the option to lower your knees down in any lunge or plank. If your knees are up, straight and strengthen your legs. Reach chest forward, gaze forward. And then move through Chaturanga. Chaturanga, you want your shoulders to shift slightly over your wrists. So you're gonna come to the tippy toes of your toes. And then keeping your elbows tucked in, lower down, and come on down to your bellies. And then flip over on your back. So on your backs, yes, we're doing abs. So bring your knees up. You can work with knees bent, shins parallel to the floor, or straighten your legs up, point your toes. Squeeze your thighs in the entire time. Also option to interlace your hands behind your head, or bring your palms together, reaching for your toes. So your chest and shoulders and head are off your mat. From here, lower your left leg down to a hover. Keep squeezing your thighs in. Bring your hands on the outside of your right thigh, left forearm, squeeze them in. Lift your right shoulder off your mat. Keep your belly button towards your spine. And then come back through center. Lower your right leg down to a hover, right forearm to your outside of left thigh. Lift your left shoulder up. Squeeze your thighs in, and then come back through center. One more time, left leg down to a hover, left forearm outside of your right thigh. If you need some support on your head, you can always bring your left arm there, and right hand behind your head. Reach up towards your toes, right leg down to a hover, we're almost done. Squeeze your thighs in, squeeze your right forearm towards your left thigh. Both legs up towards the ceiling. Reach up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Take a rest. That's difficult, and even more difficult when you're talking. Okay. And then bring your hands just behind your thighs and rock up to a seated position and flip over into downward facing dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana. And gaze between your hands and step your right foot forward between your hands and lower your back knee down. So if you have a pad or a blanket, you can place that under your left knee or roll up the side of your mat is fine. I have a fancy little cushion I use. Turn your right toes out about 30 degrees. So your right foot or your right toe points to the right corner of your mat. Left hand comes out to the left, maybe even off your mat, and towards the front of your mat slightly, about a handprint. Right hand to right thigh. We're going into twisted monkey. And press into your right hand, lift your chest, lift and twist your chest to the right. Maybe sink your hips down and forward. So just for a moment, shift your hips back slightly and notice that you're on more the top of your knee. So when you shift your hips down and forward, you kind of slide the skin of your knee back. So remember that as we go into the next pose, because you always want to protect your knee. You don't want to be right on your kneecap. It's not very comfortable. So twist to the right, maybe stay working here, or bend your back foot and grab that foot. Bring your hips towards your heel first. Keep that connection, and then maybe bring your hips down and forward. Open across your shoulder. Don't collapse in your left arm, so lift in your chest. Your right knee is going to want to come out to the right. Just make sure you keep it in line with your right foot. Take a full breath here. And then exhale, release. Walk your hands on either side of your front foot. And then lift your back knee up. Step back into downward facing dog. Take a full breath here. And then gaze between your hands. Step your left foot forward. And then lower your back knee down. Left toes angled. So your left big toes pointed towards the left corner of your mat. Right hand forward and out, bend handprint, usually off your mat. And then twist and turn to the left, bringing your left hand to your left thigh. Again, shifting your hips down and forward. You slide that skin down over your kneecap, so protecting your kneecap. Twist to the left. Stay working right here. Or tone your glutes. Keep your belly button towards your spine. Maybe bend your back foot. Maybe reach back, grabbing the toes. Bring your heel or your hips towards your heel first, and then keeping that connection as best you can. Sink your hips down and forward. Squeeze your left heel, right knee towards each other. Tone, turn your abdomen up to the left. And take a full breath here. Release that back foot. Walk your hands on either side of your front foot. Walk your foot back into center. Curl your back toes under, lift your knee, and shift back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then gaze forward and step your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your back knee down. Okay, so your front knee stays in line with your right ankle. So shin is straight up and down. You might have to wiggle your back knee back a little bit so you can slide that skin over the knee and then bring your torso upright. So just protect your knee. If this is too much, you can just come on down and work probably in a seated position. But I'm going to talk you through, this is Mermaid 2 prep and Mermaid 2. Squeeze your front heel, back knee towards each other. Place your right hand on your right thigh and press into that. Lift your chest up. You're going to sink your hips down and forward slightly or to your capacity. Maybe slide onto the top of that knee. Bend the right foot, reach back, grab that foot. Maybe stay working right here. Let's switch. Pull your heel towards your hip. This is balance also. Maybe rotate so you're bending your right or your left elbow and you're pointing it more away from you. Keep squeezing that knee joint shut. Keep bringing your hips down and forward to your capacity. Chest towards the front of your mat.
and lift. You can stay working here or slide the crook of your elbow down to your toes. So your toes is in your elbow pit. Bring that arm, bending the elbow, bring the arm up towards the ceiling. Again, stay working right here, or maybe reach your right arm across your chest and grab your hands. Or other option, bring your hand out in front, up, bend the elbow, behind your head, maybe grab your fingertips. Press your head back into your arm, and stretch your chest, and breathe. And then release. That was a lot, I know. Anywhere you worked, it's great. All stages, step back into downward facing dog. Take a breath. There's many, many, almost endless steps to any yoga pose, I think. And they're all as important as the other. Gaze between your hands and step your left foot forward between your hands and your back knee down to your mat. So front knee in line with your ankle. So front shin straight up and down. Place your left hand to your left thigh. Lift your chest up. So pressing into that thigh creates some more lift there. So using that leverage. Tone your glutes. Keep your abdomen toned. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. And stay working right here. You can always work in child's pose too. Always options. Or bring your hips down and forward so you come to the top of that knee, so the skin slides back. And then stay here or bend your back knee, grab your foot however you can reach it, and close the knee joint best you can. So bend your elbow away from you, or you can also work with your fingers wrapped over your toes. Keep your chest more forward, squeezing left heel, right knee towards each other. Stay working here or slide your elbow down to your toes, point your fingers up, so you're bending in your elbow. Maybe reach across your chest, maybe grab your hands or place your fingertips together. Keep the length in your spine or arm out in front. Bend your elbow, lifting your hand towards the ceiling and then bending it and clasping your hands. Press your head back into your arm. Breathe. And then release. And come to hands and knees. Have a seat on your back. Have a seat. And then lie down on your back. Keep your knees bent. Did great. For sure. From here, bring your knees in towards your chest, towards your shoulders for reclined child's pose. Starting to slow down all the movement. So slow down our bodies. And then bring both feet to your mat. Bring your left knee in towards your chest, left ankle on top of right knee, left knee out to the side, so figure 4. Stay working here. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Flex your feet. Maybe bring your right knee in towards your chest. And take a full breath here. Slowing down our bodies, our breath. You did a lot of work today. Release your hands. Bring both feet down to the mat. Bring your right knee in towards your chest, right knee out to the side, and right ankle on top of left knee. Stay here or interlace hands behind left thigh, bringing left knee in towards chest. Flex both feet. Keep your belly button towards your spine. Take a Full inhalation. And as you exhale, soften in your skin. And tension go. Release your hands, bring both feet to your mat. Bring your arms overhead. Then lift your hips up and guide them slightly over to the right, dropping your knees to the left. Maybe gaze over to the right. This is a staggered knee position. So your right foot walks off your right side of the mat. So stretching across the right side of the body. Full breath in. Exhale out. And bring hips and knees back to center. And then lift your hips up and over to the left, dropping knees to the right. Again, staggering the knees to the right foot. Touch the top of your left knee. You grabbed your hands or clasped your hands, switch the clasp and gaze over to the left. Big breath. And then come back through center. And one last time, knees in towards your chest for reclined child's pose or Shavasana. Maybe rock side to side. If that feels good on your body. And if there's any one last pose that is equal to both sides, like maybe happy baby, feel free to take that. And then come into our final pose, Shavasana, what we've all worked so hard for. Legs long on your mat, arms alongside your torso, palms facing up. Allow your ankles to drop out to the side. Relax your shoulders, your hips, and then close down your eyes. And take a few breaths, letting all the tension go, surrendering the weight of your body into the mat, into the earth beneath you. Relaxing your face, space between your eyebrows, your jaw. And allowing your body to rest and receive the benefits of your practice. Feel free to stand Shavasana as long as you like,
or start to deepen your breath.
Bring some movement to your hands and feet. When you're ready, bend your knees and roll to your right. Pause there. And then using the strength of your arms, return to a seated position. And keeping your eyes closed or a soft gaze at the floor in front of you. Bring your palms together at heart center if you wish, and rest your thumbs gently into your chest. Lift the brightness of your heart into your thumbs. We'll still clasp with one Om. So full inhalation. And exhale completely. And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest, and in honor and respect to each one of you, this practice, and all those who carved the way for us for this practice, namaste. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for sticking with this Zoom, and we'll see you soon in person. Have a wonderful day.